Good again, everybody. Today we're going to take a quick look at the McFarlane Series 1 Fire Dragon. And when I say quick look, I really do mean quick look, because I don't really feel like opening him. Why is that? Well, I said in my first video I don't aim to be a completist, and there are some dragons I like and some I don't. I know they all look amazing, especially up close in person, but that's just the way it is. And the only reason I got this guy was he came as part of a set, and the owner was only going to sell in a set, and it was a fantastic price, so well, there you go. So I can't explain why I don't like this dragon. It could be the color. I think it's probably the relatively static pose. I like my dragons to be ready for action, something that's really dynamic or hinting at impending action. This just doesn't do it for me, and in fact I think it looks pretty lame. Maybe it's also the stunted looking wings. They certainly look like they belong on a flightless dragon. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some dragons with a flightless look and they look fabulous. I just don't really like this one. Maybe I think it could be another failed premise. If you look at the back, I think that a fire dragon is white, probably because he's so hot, he's white hot. And indeed, if you look at that red accent on the throat, it certainly looks like he's about to breathe fire. But it just doesn't fit with the rather, like I said, rather passive pose, almost that he's about to spit fire. And once again, comparing the concept with the actual real thing, you don't see any of that. In fact, it looks like a very faint pink. So another example of how something that looked really good in the photo of the prototype doesn't translate to the real thing. But you know, I could be reading a little bit more than the sculptors intended. Just like I sometimes imagine George Lucas is laughing at all of us for deconstructing the Star Wars movies, scouring for hidden meanings and philosophical subtexts, which he probably never intended in the first place. I do like a couple of things though. Firstly, I know I said his wings look stunted, but look at that. What does that remind you of? I don't know about you, it reminds me of pieces of charcoal, or even shriveled blackened pieces of meat you sometimes see on a barbecue. And that really evokes at least the idea of searing heat. I really like the eyes. If you look at the eyes, they're really well painted. They are they're glimmering, they're glistening, you know, almost with tears, with lacrimal fluid. It looks real. And of course, if you look at the entire head of the dragon, it just looks fantastic. Anyway, I like to introduce a bit the premise of this series. What it is, there's a backstory to the world of these dragons, and each part can be found in the various boxes. So basically, to get the whole story, to piece the whole story together, you pretty much have to collect them all, which I'm not going to do, but I will read to you the background of this. And here's what it says. Before the age of man, there was a golden age of dragons, intelligent creatures who ruled the earth and were the first beings to develop speech and writing. The dragons were divided into clans, each with a specific role and specialty, and all led by an enlightened leader, King Draco. A great cataclysm struck the dragon nation, killing the king, destroying their civilization, and causing the disappearance of the sole heir to the dragon throne. The dragons that survived the great disaster fled to many hidden points of the globe. Humanity rose to power, inventing their own language and writing, and building the Earth's dominant culture. But when a dragon that seems to have the gift of speech is sighted by men, all bets are suddenly off. How will the two species interact? Will there be peace between dragon and man? Or war? I'm gonna guess, having seen some of the dioramas in this series, that we're more likely to see war rather than peace, and we're likely to This story is probably going to end in conflict rather than cooperation. I would guess that as the series progresses, you'll see first dragons alone, maybe dragons coexisting with humans, and then more scenes of conflict between dragons and humans. And I think you'll see as I review some of my later dragons that that is the case. So there you have it, a look at the Series 1 Fire Dragon. Really sorry I didn't open him up. He does look pretty good now that I look at it again. But I hope that just this quick look will be enough. I think it's probably more than you'll be able to find on net easily, and might help you decide if you're on the fence about getting this. So until next time, I'll see you hopefully with an open out of the box dragon.